Buying liquidation, it's not for everyone, but in this video, I'm going to tell you why I prefer liquidation over any other sourcing method. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And as I mentioned in the intro, I want to talk to you guys today about liquidation. Now, if you watched my previous videos over the last couple weeks, and maybe even further back than that, you've seen me pull some stuff that was kind of suspect, maybe wasn't very appealing to you at all, but there's highs and lows in this business, and when you're sourcing, the same can be true with liquidation. But in this video, I want to tell you why I prefer, as a business model for myself, to buy liquidation versus yard sale versus thrift store versus online arbitrage or any other method that you might use to obtain merchandise to resell and make money. That's the reason why we do this, right? So the first reason why I prefer sourcing liquidation over any other method is simply to save time. And when you save time, you're saving yourself money. You could take that time to spend on other things, other projects, listing, shipping, doing videos like this for you guys. I can tell you, if I sourced any other way, I probably wouldn't have time to do the YouTube gig, and it would take me a lot longer. Think about it. If you're sourcing at thrift stores, if you're sourcing at yard sales, let's say yard sales, you have to plan your day. You have to get up crack of dawn early if you want to get to the the best sales and be one of the first ones there to get the stuff, right? See it all the time. The people who get to the yard sale late, they're out. And then with thrift stores, I mean, you might hit a thrift store and you might not find anything. And you may have spent a good hour looking through the entire store, and it's off to the next one. And you multiply that by 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how many items you're looking to source, and that could be really a problem. And there might be days you get your items really quick, and there might be days that you didn't get as much as you were hoping for, and you kind of have to go back, and maybe tomorrow they're going to have more stuff. I mean, you could look at bin stores, right? You can go to a bin store, you might be able to get a couple bags of merchandise, but is that really going to sustain you throughout the week? I'm just not interested in going to multiple locations and hoping that I'm going to find merchandise. Remember, back in 2019, after I lost my job, thrift stores, going to clearance aisles, and even some yard sales was ways I was trying to find merchandise. And unfortunately for me, I just wasn't finding enough consistently. And it wasn't until I came across liquidation and recalled the time that I tried bulk.com, didn't like it, but you know what, I said, let's give it another try with a different company. It wasn't until then that I realized that I could buy the liquidation, have it shipped to my house, or in some cases go and pick it up, and I would be done in the matter of maybe an hour or two, if that. And I could spend that other time that I would normally be spending driving to this location and that location on other things like listing and taking care of my business. So when sourcing, you have to have a plan, right? And I'm sure many of you guys go to your thrift stores, go to the yard sales, or however you currently do your sourcing, and I'm sure you have some kind of plan in mind. You're like, I have $50, I want to try to get 15 items, $100, I want to get 20 items, whatever it is, right? Whatever your game plan is in the back of your mind. But again, I mean, you could go to that thrift store, they may not have a very good selection for you that day. They might have had it last week, but this week they certainly don't have it. So you're off to the next location. You're really at the mercy of what you're able to find. Now with liquidation, it's quite a bit more consistent than that. Now there's many sites out there that I use where you get a manifested pallet, and then when you're manifested, you really have a good idea on what that pallet brings. And if you don't like it, If it doesn't look like it's going to make money, you move on to the next pallet. Now, I talked to you guys in a couple of videos now over the last 2 years about my 40-40 method. I'll put that right above. And that gives me a game plan to utilize for selecting a pallet. Generally, it doesn't take me more than a half an hour to an hour to find something that I like, that's going to work for me, that I'm able to obtain, and either I'm going to pick it up or have it shipped, just depending on how far the pallet's being shipped. But I find that when you buy liquidation, you generally keep your cost of goods low. With my 40-40 method, depending on the piece count of my liquidation pallet, I would say I'm into each item for about $5 per item. Sometimes I'm into the items for a little lower than that. I've done my calculations over the last couple of years. I've seen piece counts be anywhere from $1.50 all the way up to $10, really depending on what type of lot I'm buying. But rest assured, by keeping my costs low, it gives me a lot of room to run markdown sales. It gives me a lot of room to offer coupons. And then even on top of that, I can consistently mark my items down with the methods that I've talked to you guys before on this channel. And I can do best offer and offer a blowout price if I just don't want to sit on that item anymore. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. After 30 days, before that item renews, I'm adding best offer. I'm adding a promoted listing rate that is at the recommended rate to try to get rid of these items. And for me, I know what I'm in for each item for, because I can keep the cost low and I can do that consistently. And the way I source, I have a lot of room to work with, so that for me, I can offer a low price, move my items, and be done with it. Now, when you're buying liquidation, I know a lot of you guys sell maybe in a niche. I sell pretty much everything. If it looks like a pallet's going to make me money, I'm going to buy it. And I've made mistakes along the way. You guys know that. You guys have watched my channel for a while. But I wouldn't keep doing it if I wasn't making money. So you can go to sites like bstock.com, where you can buy from Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon, Office Depot. You can go to a wide variety of retailers, and I have links for Macy's liquidation that I think I've shared with you guys before, for furniture, household goods, and of course what Macy's sells a lot of, which is clothing. I certainly have links to that I have shared with you guys before. Of course, liquidation.com, they have about a dozen different locations around the country. You find the location that's closest to you, and then you sort through the merchandise that they have to offer, and you'll see a wide variety of things, from clothing to shoes to electronics to household items to general merchandise. Pretty much whatever you can buy at a retail store, you're going to be able to find. You have your direct liquidations, you have your blue lots. It just, there's probably another dozen sites that I haven't even named for you that you can go on right now as we speak. It's open 24/7, and find lots that you can investigate and maybe even bid on. You'll find that there's a lot of pretty good merchandise. You can find a wide variety of things, or sometimes, like what I do, I buy just a general merchandise pallet, get a good cost per item, and who knows what I'm going to get. And that works for me too. And I guess the main reason why I continue to buy liquidation, it works and it's profitable. I can make 2, 3, 4, 5 times sometimes what my investment is after eBay fees, after taxes. I'm making money, and that's the bottom line. That's the reason why we do this. So the key thing is, for me, I found a way to make money, and it's not as easy as I'm making it sound. Flipping ain't easy. You have to learn any craft that you get yourself into. You have to know what pitfalls to avoid, and after learning the ins and outs of however you source, and in my case liquidation, you learn what really works and you learn what doesn't. Now, I just don't want you guys to get sort of the wrong impression. I bought those boxes over the last few weeks for you guys to see just an example of liquidation. I generally don't buy the mystery box type lots anymore because a lot of times these liquidators, they pick through these lots. So prior to the videos you were seeing, for probably the majority of the year, I was sticking to larger pallets that had stuff that I can actually see, like your appliance pallets, a lot of coffee makers, Roombas, different things like that, things that I know and have had experience with, and I know what I can part out on some of these if they're not working. I know what the used items sell for. I know what the new items, if I get lucky enough to get them, sell for. And it's that experience you gain just by buying your first few pallets, which may not be so hot when you first start, is what you learn from and helps you know what to avoid in future pallets. And that experience will help you find the profitable items where you're making 3-4 times your money. I wouldn't be able to continue making $30,000 in sales every 90 days, clearing over 600 items every 90 days if I didn't have a reliable source and if I didn't figure out through experience how I can make liquidation work for me. So that's pretty much a bunch of reasons why I source liquidation. And again, as I said when I first came on this video, it may not be for you, and I'm not here to advocate that everyone go out and run out and buy a liquidation pallet. If you are sourcing and it's making you money and you're very happy with whoever's supplying you your merchandise, do not change a thing. I mean, of course, we want to be happy in what we're doing. We want to be satisfied in what we're doing. And if you're there right now, then don't change anything. But if you're looking for maybe another way to find merchandise consistently, liquidation is the way to go. But you know what? I got to give you a caveat. Like I said a few minutes ago, your first few pallets, if you don't know what you're doing, your first few pallets can be a little, kind of scary. It's only through continuing to buy liquidation and learning from the pallets that you've bought before, what to avoid and what worked for you, that you'll continue to grow and it's going to get better. I promise you that. I give you tips all the time on this channel on liquidation, and there's a lot of good YouTube channels out there as well that can also give you good tips to learn from. So guys, comment down below, tell me what you think. What do you think about buying liquidation? Have you done it before? Is it something that maybe if your current sourcing avenue dries out or doesn't provide you with the type of merchandise that you have grown accustomed to actually selling, is liquidation something that you might consider trying? I want to know. Put your comments down below. As usual, do me a favor, like the video. It certainly helps the video. Subscribe to the channel. I certainly would appreciate that. And of course, if you want to be notified when I make videos, and I've been making a lot lately, hit that notification bell so you're one of the first ones to know that I've dropped a new video. Sourcing, we have to do it to keep our stores going, keep replenishing our products. But it's yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great rest of your weekend. I have family coming over this weekend, so you'll hear from me on Monday. And until then, take care of yourselves, everyone.